What up, world? It's your boy, just one of the guys down here. Well, I could be more specific. I'm a human. And just wanted to, for the sake of all of us Earthlings out there, just wanted to say, we love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. Hi, I'm a baboon. I'm like a man, just less advanced, and my anus is huge.
Hey, I'm a zebra. No one knows what I do, but I look pretty cool in my white or black.
I'm a lion cub, and I'm always getting licked.
How's it going? I'm a cow. You drink milk from my tits. I'm a fat fucking pig.
I'm a common fungus.
I'm a disgruntled skunk, shoot you out my butthole.
I'm a marijuana plant, I can get you fucked up.
And I'm Kanye West.
We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. Ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, buddy. We are the vultures, feed on the dead.
We're just some rhinos, funny as heck.
I'm just a giraffe, what's with this neck?
Hippity hop, I'm a kangaroo. I hop out there, up and down with you. I'm an elephant, I got junk in my trunk.
What the fuck, am I clown?
I'm a wolf,
I'm a squirrel looking for my next nut.
and I'm a pony, just a freak horse. But, come on, get on. Yeah, giddy up, let's ride.
HPV, don't let me in. I'm a koala and I sleep all the time. So what? It's cute.
We love you, India.
We love you, Africa.
We love you, China.
We forgive you, Germany. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. I'm a man. Hello. Can you hear me? Anyone out there? Hello? I've trudged the earth for so damn long and still don't know shit. I hope it's not a simulation. Give each other names like Ahmed and Pedro. And yeah, we like to wear clothes. Girls still look beautiful and it covers up our human dick. Eat a lot of tuna fish, but these days it's like we don't know how to act. All these shootings, pollution, we under attack on ourselves. Like let's all just chill, respect what we built. Like look at the internet, it's cracking as hell. Fellas, don't you let it come when you have sex? And I heard women orgasms are better than a dick's. So what we got is land for, what we gotta stand for. Love. And we love the Hey Russia, we're cool. Hey Asia, all of you, come on, every one of you, from the plains to the Sahara, let's come together and live.
Dime chicos, ahora que yo amamos la tierra.
Woman, ha dicho.
Come on, everybody. I know we're not all the same, but we're living on the same Earth.
Have you ever been to Earth?
Everyone who's listening has been to Earth, Ariana. We're not making music for aliens here.
Are we gonna die?
You know what, Bieber? We might die. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, there's so many people out there who don't think global warming's a real thing. You know, we gotta save this planet. We're being stupid.
Unless we get our shit together now.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, and how many years can the mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? And how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Okay. Nope. That one. There it is. Okay. Cool. Hello. Oh, this got it adjusted to a 6.3. So there was just a 7.4. It's 11. Hour and a half ago. In the Philippines. Doesn't seem good. I don't know what the actual like if there was a tsunami. It's like cheering. Oh, what is going on there? Ugh. Crazy. It's not like super mass destruction. That tree was waving a lot, but they were waving it. It seemed, I don't know. Earthquake! Shaking the tree. Water is seeding. Not good. Oh shit. Terrifying. Tsunami. Oh fuck. Warning in effect. Dogs like, ah! Oh fuck, this is probably crazy. Oh my god. 7.4, you're up on the top of that. Oh my god, he's freaking stumbling. Stumbling with openings to just fall in a gap. Down a open tower. Oh my god. Just like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Oh damn. Destruction is pretty minimal in these videos. Let's see what's up on this one. 2 that are not USGS. 4.9. 4.8. 33 minutes an hour. Hour and 4, hour and 1. I guess those could be related. Like the same measurement. I don't know. Well, I hope everyone's alright. Looks like it was less impactful than I initially thought it would be. Like, oh damn. Oh fuck, okay. Oh. Holy shit. Building is, oh my god, it's just like not even hidden. Oh my lord. And then the power goes out. Fuck. Oh fuck. Oh no. Okay. So there's that one, and then there was a rather odd 5.5, which is pretty high for over in this area. Let's see. All magnitudes. 5.5 on September 14th. This is probably the one I'm thinking. Probably the one that I was reading. Yes. Approximately 27-day periodicities in interplanetary plasma and field features have suggested that slowly evolving conditions of the coronal field topology produce an almost rigidly co-rotating solar wind structure during the declining phases of solar cycles. I don't even know. Likely. I think it's like gone longer than expected and may or may not be in the decline. And this seems related. This date, September 14th, is not the only thing that happened September 14th. That's today. Or, no, it's the 12th. Oh, the 12th. 12th is actually 27 days ago. Ding ding, I'd say. So directly adjacent, pretty much, on the far side of the magnetic anomaly, where Kamchatka quakes have been relating to, as seen all my other videos in this series. This structure has been integral to the outcome of undercurrent interactions that led to specifically buildup of energy against the resistance of this structure, that led to abrupt, like, overwhelming of the resistance, which then led to earthquakes, as that was the manifestation thereof. But they're all around this thing. The 8.8 was like here, the initial 7.4 was like here, and then there others are like over in this area. But these two are up north on this side, like in this area. So, or maybe they were here, I think, actually. See my other videos. I don't feel like looking specifically. I think they were like in this channel and this channel. Low intensity being a channel in which undercurrents pass. High intensity being a wall that prevents flow as a function of the wallness, how tall it is, how much mass, kind of like a mountain versus a hill versus a valley kind of thing, where the hills are passable relative to the mountain, but in a sense, whether or not it's physically larger or just denser, more resistant, unclear. More iron content seems quite certain, based on research in Africa. But this one though, September 12th. How many days ago was September 12th? 27. A 7.4 occurred 27 days ago. Previous observations of approximately 27 days periodicities in interplanetary plasma and field features have suggested that slowly evolving conditions of the coronal field topology produce an almost rigidly co-rotating solar wind structure during the declining phase of solar cycles. The studies by Simba, okay, not a chance. Provided significant, okay, maybe, let's say 27 day. Oh, they say it multiple times. Let's see. Further research on the hypothesis of the possible high sunspot, maybe? High speed solar wind, that's right. No, it's sunspot. High speed solar wind EQ earthquake. Further research on the possible hypothesis, oh my god, of the possible high solar speed, oh my god, high speed solar winds. Wow, it's kind of like a Ammonite all over again. Don't listen to him, he doesn't even know the words. Okay, we'll see. Pardon me. High speed solar wind stream. Earthquake relationship revealed a surprising novel finding, a power spectrum analysis suggesting that during the decay phase of the solar cycle. I'm not sure why there's two C's. And then 22 and 23, and at the maximum of solar cycle 23, the values of the global seismic greater than 6 energy output shows a periodic variation of approximately 27 days, which is the mean rotational period of the sun. These structures reappear with the 27 days rotation period of the sun. So obviously, the coronal holes, whatever's going on with the sun, I'm not paying attention, has rotated back and is possibly, I know there's been some coronal mass ejections that came to Earth recently and maybe are now even. Clearly it's happening, and so my point though is 6 days later was a larger magnitude, basically at the same location. And as we've talked about in the last episode, Kamchatka is doing some weird stuff. We're gonna relate this all to what happened today. It's just we gotta like wrap around things and do some loops, loop-de-loops. So there's like an inner arrow that maybe doesn't extend there per se, but that has a mass like that, and then a extending arrow structure, and then just kind of like an actual path, I guess. That's essentially suggestive that what was going on here, where there's a undercurrent in the magnetic anomalies, open space of low intensity that allows an undercurrent to propagate, whatever exactly the mechanism is, be it just pressure. Let's say that's maybe the easiest for modern science to consider, or an actual undercurrent, which Otto Ampfer suggested and is left out in the plate tectonics originating discussion quite commonly, even in spite of his undercurrent theory that never gets mentioned, maybe perhaps because of But so we saw this happening where it just had arrows, which we see in other places. Like I don't know if this map shows it very well, especially with where there's an arrow here, where current flowed across this way into resistance, build up mass, and interacted in ways see Earth's undercurrents. Where there's an arrow that actually forms, and I think even if we look at Yellowstone, like an actual arrow pointing at it, where the flow propagated with a head of the propagation that cut through in a way that it wasn't just like an arc, it actually cut through like an arrow shape and made an actual arrow shape in the terrain that indicates the direction of the flow of propagation of energy, which I see in places like there. So when I see it over here, I say the propagation of energy appears to be happening, where in the last like 2 months, 2.5 months, it's been more of like a sea war of forces, I think, a battle of north propagating pressures and the south propagating, where south, when Sand Point went off, had an influx of energy to the region that just increased the pressure. So it became high pressure over here, and it was exhausting preferentially as its path of least resistance through this region, but it wasn't just free flowing, it was interacting with a northward propagating current that was taking that path and basically shoving it out of the way. I think that's what happened, where it got more directed over to the side here. In the magnetic anomalies, it's really not quite as visible here. Let's change this color. Where there's a northbound current that is flowing into this like pointed point and into this one. And generally though into this region. Here, that's a northbound. And then there's a southbound current that's generally flowing into the region from the high pressure in this region that then are interacting. As they approach, there's this magnetic anomaly, which is the epicenter of where their interactions are culminating or were at least, because they were running into each other and deflecting to exhaust this way and this way, and they were basically battling for exhaust. When this one, it seems, was before this happened, before the Sandpoint earthquake, this path was probably more like generally flowing to a boundary, and the north one was reaching and kind of holding the pressure so that it was like a gate was closed here, but then it pushed through kind of thing and began to interact for this space. And it seems like it's pushed through so much now that it's actually interacted for this space, where the northbound current was going generally through here in part and going along here, and it probably still is, just like it's getting overwhelmed, and there's pressure over here, so it was exhausting in part in here, but it's not able to exhaust that much. So it basically, except for in these channels where it could go those ways with some capacity, and other channels like here and here and up here, where it could exhaust sideways, but it ultimately pushed from this pressure over here, this current, to go this way and to go this way. So it's kind of out of the way, where the southbound current is generally like going now in this region. With very little northbound current through this region, it seems, to a degree, as much as it can go forward. Oh my lord. Like the only things that pop up. I'm sorry guys, the comments. I don't mean to be rude, I'm so rude. Oh man. fuck happened? Okay, okay. There's so many potentials. Well, we know. Okay. Okay. Let's see if anything new has happened of any comparable magnitude. That's definitely of note. That's of note. What is freaking... Oh my... But so then it pushed down, and I mean, we're seeing earthquakes, so let's pull up some tabs. Let's go through some recent stuff that was happening. September 30th, so this is 10 days ago. We were just seeing earthquakes generally along this like straight path and this way. But more in like this area rather than over here and here kind of areas. Like current that was flowing through here was going into the Indonesian archipelago, or trying to. And then it had this boundary. So at this time, where is this? The 30th, it had this boundary. This is interesting. Oh, shit. I'm like, maybe this 6.9 opens this up. So, like, pressures, northbound pressures, which aren't necessarily northbound as much as slower than, still south, but slower than what's behind it. So it's like causing what's behind it to run into it and slow down and apply its energy into what's in front of it, but it's slow, so it's still creating earthquakes because it's just not able to respond. So maybe like pressure ahead, and then like something moves. Like imagine you're at a red light, and the car, like 5 cars up, is the Philippines, kind of like at the Philippines, not in the Philippines, but is in the region of the Philippines. And then the light turns green, and the front car moves immediately, allowing for flow to come up behind it. So some quakes happen here, which probably did like relieve a clog, in essence, that was building up pressure there, and then it gets through, and then stuff behind it that's trying to continue forward in the flows of the undercurrents are actually able to move forward more readily, but not immediately, with a delay. So that's what I'm getting at, is on the 30th, in spite of that this quake was at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 30th, maybe there's still blockage on the 29th. right? Oh no, that's on the 30th. Oh, okay. So didn't need to like unblock yet. Okay, so on the 30th, it's still blocked. And this is when I thought it looked kind of like Dead Man Walking. And then on the 1st, I noticed it looks like an arrow. And then I noticed also that I drew an arrow back here. On the 19th, like a week and a half before, where I was thinking it's I don't know the context exactly. Maybe I should look at this real quick. Okay, so 5.9 at Kamchatka occurred on the 19th. Let's check it out. Here, so this is actually good to check out because I was like, I wonder where that one quake is. This one that's like super on the margin. They're still happening. It's out here. I still haven't looked at magnetic anomalies really. But this one was at the margin. Oh, is this one after that? 9:30. Oh, it is. When it's over here, it's almost like it's getting cornered. Like it actually has a channel that's not exactly there. It's actually further out. Where it's generally propagating. And sometimes it runs into resistance and can go left or right. And it went this west into then a corner of resistance where an earthquake happened. And then it goes back. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like one like way over here at some point. I don't know. Just a spitballing on that, man. I mean, I certainly miss many a time trying to hypothesize what may come to be. Here's the northbound current, and then we saw a 5.9 there, which was in the northbound path. And then, let's see. Suggestive northward flows are being forced through the nozzle of the region rather than east of it, where they are interacting with southbound flows. So basically, this path is getting cut off, and it's going this way. And approaching resistance of cross currents. So then, as they get up to this area, the southbound current is also cutting in here. So, and exhaust currents might be cutting through too, I'm not sure. But it interacts with other currents here, so it's generally approaching there, is what I meant by that. Major cross current location. And then we saw this kind of elbow on the 19th. Where the swarm was really suggestive of colliding currents. And then where it was happening was actually above the magnetic anomaly, and I think this magnetic anomaly has gone through some actual changes that would be measurably detectable, I think. So it may not be exactly the same. Like maybe over here, or something. I don't know. I don't want to spitball. But then there's some stuff at Guayaquil, and then it moved down. We saw one go up and down, which seems to be a common theme when it moves, is like the back of the bus maybe actually has some management to get like forward pushing, and it like propagates through. I don't know if that's a thing that happens. Like if energy is blocked, maybe like the tail of it kind of just like snaps like a slinky. Like the final parts of the slinky probably rejoin at a bit faster than the rest of the slinky. I don't know. Since it's like most of the slinky is joined, but there's just that bit at the end, so it's like not as balanced of an interaction within the system itself. Where maybe it leads to earthquakes in the back, and then the front when it starts moving forward at the front. Or maybe it even has an option like a random walk, but not random, but where it's got like an energy check. So like, does it have enough energy to move to the next pixel? If not, it like can walk back the other way. I don't know. Or it's forced back. I don't know. It kind of makes sense that it would behave like that when there's a lot of interacting pressures. And then there was an earthquake there. These three above are in these locations. I don't know where the third one is. Coupled with the other location, I guess the one that I was looking at over there. That was like in here somewhere. Those three suggest there appears to be a shifting of the interactions. Perhaps southward pressures are beginning to push the boundary there. So I was thinking at the time with this arrow that they were getting to here, but what's happening here is what the two currents that are interacting can't interact like indefinitely. If it passes it, it passes it. So this southbound pressure, when it passes right here, anything that's in this area going north is really following within this channel, within the wall, based on the high intensity. Like it's more in there. Here it can cut through, and probably was, when it was probably going like through here and holding pressure over here, generally speaking. But then things changed where energy's adjusted, and this has probably gone on forever in the process, but it's just more discernible in the moment, I guess. And Kamchatka's like out of the blue, details and everything around it, like it didn't just stop. It's just been like a process underway. But so what's going in here, anything that's going above this boundary is generally coming across this whole way above the magnetic anomalies here, and generally here. Anything that goes above here and across and makes it through over here into this region, like cutting through, cutting through, cutting through, probably going over top in part or underneath, whatever exactly. Just getting into this region, applying a pressure and forcing the current through a nozzle that it gets through a cross current, I guess. So it can't easily get through because there's a cross current. So it has to create this nozzle that has like a focused beam that just pushes like an atom through at a time along a spine, kind of not truly an atom, but like that kind of thing to make it super a beam. Also happening over here, stuff that like goes against this resistance, because there's also pressures coming down into this area that are focused especially here and here, so that it's like running into this cross current. It's going down through this point into the current going across, creating a wall literally between the interactions, going down off of it. And so here it's down. This section is south. The north section is really starts here, is my interpretation. Although the same current still gets across, but it more so goes into this region, and it goes up and down and just through these channels wherever it can, and makes its way across into North America. I gotta sneeze. I guess I should freaking. Lord. Okay, so then we got this. What's going on? Since these earthquakes have happened in Kamchatka, as per USGS, it seems the structure of the magnetic anomaly is being rearranged inside the Earth by undercurrents. They're all kind of around the magnetic anomaly, but like suggestive that the magnetic anomaly has been kind of its material has been pushed over here. Guayaquil. Oh no, I gotta sneeze again. Okay. I just blew my nose and hope that helps. Pardon me. So then I was thinking like a snake head, a tongue even, and then a body that literally wraps around and goes over here, wraps around, goes over here, down to a rattling tail. Where current structurally is actually being encouraged these ways, and the earthquakes reflect it, where it, like, some of it's going down here and some of it's going up here, and it's eddying around the terminal at the North Pole region. So there's an eddy up here unrelated to the structure of this snake structure, except for that it is interacting with currents, where currents along these areas are creating this shape. So maybe it's doing something like this. I'm not to ultimately go down this way. Oh man, one sec. Okay. Also, my last YouTube feed just cut out at like 20 minutes, but the Rumble is there, so I put that in the thing. Okay, here's an angel. Here's an angel, and then I thought this was interesting. Is angel. Then I saw what I thought was kind of like a straight line to two little wrapping around bends over here going on. It's generally not a good sign for Los Angeles region. Something I was suggesting. I mean, I don't know if it's like the magnitudes we're seeing on the west of Pacific, but still doesn't look good. It looks like some like northbound currents from around Antarctica that are just generally wrapping around, and when they get to over here, some of them spray off this way. Like some of them essentially get over into this region and create a northward flow. In this general region has a lot of north flow that is especially being pushed over here. That seems to have been pushed actually over here based on these earthquakes. So it's not actually following here. It's following like this subtler cut through structure here. It's like there but not there kind of thing to go over there. Like it's being pushed instead of going here, when previously it was being pushed westward by pressures off of South America. But in this present time, it was being pushed further west or east to interact here in other earthquakes that I think, I guess are not in this list. I don't know where I posted them. Surely I did. Earthquake in volcanic eruption in Japan on the 8th. Dear God. That looked like it came on quick. Okay, okay. Let's see, how about July 29? July 20th. That's about 27 times 3. Actually, it's a new day, and it's going from the 10th. So it actually is 27 times 3 to the 20th. So three solar rotations to that one. One solar rotation to the other one that we were looking at earlier on the 14th. And then the 6 days after, a 7.8. Whereas the first one was 9 days after. I wonder what date was 55 days ago. August 16th. Hoping if I just put it in like that, August 16th. No, nothing. August 21st, though. Let's just do August 16th and not be doing this broad search. I'll go 17, whatever. I mean, it's something. And then there's also that. They're just not in the 7 range. They're in the, like, right locations, though. Where all this energy is generally going. I guess. First bend, like it's going to a bend and going that way. Let's see, is there any new one? 5.5. This place is having aftershocks. Oh, damn. see where it is on magnetic anomalies exactly. It's all like right off this corner, so. Can't really see it. It's probably here though. Let's just check it out. Was that one the first one? Yes. So it's like pressure was building and nothing was happening because there was resistance. But it at a 7.4 energy of pressure built, the resistance gave way and it propagated energy, allowed energy to get through. That was kind of clogged there. That's what that seems to look like. Oops. These two were the immediate aftershocks, and then far one, and then the intermediary ones. More centered than the aftershock. Almost like these two were pushing out like boundaries of a channel. Like I imagine like a channel that's drawn bigger though. A wall in which current is propagating and pressure is building and building and building until it gives way. In this case, a 7.4, but what's in front of it maybe like swings out like a door, like kind of thing, like the material is actually shoved out of the way to a point. And then it continues through, but it not without like running into surrounding pressures. Where there's a aftershock on like both areas of surrounding pressures, and then maybe it like isn't getting through as well, so it's going more down the center channel now with earthquakes. Like it's not free flowing down this newly opened channel, it's doing so with earthquakes. Meaning maybe pressure around it is reacting. Like it pushed out and now it's pushing back. The magnetic anomalies definitely do not seem especially helpful. 7.265 in terms of locally. I should probably look at both numbers. One's about there, so it's pretty much on the edge of this anomaly, missing data and down. Generally in the area of a high intensity buildup. It seems the current goes through here, but maybe it actually like goes down and around generally, but the earthquakes over here maybe open up a channel through, so now it's flowing down into this area but ultimately to get over here where it wants to go, it is applying more current into this area, maybe. But that led to earthquakes over here because it's abnormal flow rates. So in order to support the abnormal flow rates, it has to do something to like expand the space available, even if it's just being pushed out of the way. That's really fascinating that there's those connections. And there was something else too. Something else. Let's look at more data. Search, modify. 6, maybe 5.9 since July. They changed that to 7.3. That's the one that kicked it off, in a sense. Open the door. Current was able to flow into here way more easily than it was. I don't know. Maybe it was just happening anyway, but that just really indicated it, or just showed. But then over here, this is where it was exhausting out here. Where it could, it's got like a chakra thing going on in these large quakes. It also had some interesting shapes that I don't know why I didn't bring those posts up. Oh, wait. Oh, I never finished this. I moved away to that arrow. Okay, there we go. Still going at the other Philippine location on the first. Still generally staying in the line from Kamchatka through Philippines and east. So here's where that quake was. Interesting. I drew this boundary. This is where all the previous like 6.9s were, and I was like, in the magnetic anomalies, this is a kind of strange location. First of all, we can't see all the data, but regardless, we can look at surrounding things. Like, it seems maybe there's generally a flow across this way, maybe that contributes to the area, but like, what's exactly going on? There's a dark low intensity and another one here. These two suggest mean the current is passing through with high intensity for some reason. In terms of the surroundings, it's unclear, but we can see or low intensity higher there. So if we just go to the map, like we see it here. And then we see it here, and there's no reason to think that it utterly stops here, so it seems to continue, which suggests the quakes over here, also over here, that these two generally connect over across into this area and down there. So when there's quakes there, I thought, well, the edge of the Mariana Trench goes across. Where is it? I don't know. Where is the... Let's just go by this. Oh, yeah. Above... Oh, that's right. I thought... It actually looks like it's related to, like, above this feature. And then down. Or vice versa, where it's actually going up this way into the Mariana Trench. Probably not the case. It's probably going down from the Mariana Trench from Kamchatka and going across this way and making its way over here in part and down through Sulawesi. Through here. Or through here. Then it runs into resistance and magnetic anomalies there. Particularly here. But it seems to make its way through, ultimately. Probably by going over this way and then across this way. So it tries to go this way if it can, but there's pressure where it's like climbing up a hill. So it can't really go that way very easily, but it does still because it's like a pressure gauge. And then it goes across this way and through the northern part here to basically spray out from Fiji region to go across this region. So the current is going generally down here and it's going this way. It may go through here. So it seemed out. And we saw in the past a counterclockwise tendency of high magnitude earthquakes across time in the Pacific, where they actually seem to propagate counterclockwise at times, at least. It's certainly, well, that's cherry picking data. Kind of arguable, but it's not cherry picking. It's like seeing a pattern and acknowledging it for what it is, an anomalous pattern that really shouldn't be there if they're random. If it's just kind of plates being plates. Counterclockwise, a little odd. Sure, it can be excused once it's acknowledged, but that's fine, but it's a thing. That's my point. Holy. Where are we? I must not be this far. I guess there's a bunch more going on here. Supportive that undercurrents are flowing westward along the Indonesian archipelago from Timor. So that there is a Merapi volcanic eruption there. I feel like we talked about this one in the previous episode. And I went too far back. Let's go over here. Alright. I guess I was just getting a bearing. Let's look at this one. Okay. Possible paths. This was a trend of earthquakes at Kamchatka on this freaking thing on the 3rd. Shifting along the margin between north-southbound undercurrent interaction with its shifting inward and accelerating, distance-wise at least, Kamchakra behaving curiously again. The margin was further south, but is shifting north to a previous location. So like the general margin shifting back to this like points margin, where there's like an inner margin, and then there was a exhaust path here margin in the past, but now it looks like it's here, and now it's doing that thing where flows are interacting. They have a space in which they're interacting, like a channel head on, and they get run into each other, and they deflect into a wall of resistance of that space that they're propagating in, of pressures, and that leads to an earthquake, which then leads to it saying, well, I can't go that way, so it goes the other way across, generally speaking, to then go over there, and then it reaches a point where it's like, shit, I can't go this way either. Seems to be a thing that happens in the undercurrents. In the undercurrents. It's 6.0 off the coast of Japan about 6 hours ago on October 4th. In magnetic anomalies, it is at the meeting point there of paths along high intensity anomalies from Asia. So like where what we were talking about earlier, if we go down here and generally just across to this margin and then just kind of dot 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 there, it's in line with that margin, meaning it's definitely related, and it's also in line with this path here where currents are going southward. So there's eastward, there's southward, there's probably westward, and like southward from a different, more easterly position. I don't know if that's proper language, whatever. And just generally, like, this points at it. It doesn't have a path especially. It's like up here there is, here generally along this margin there is, down here there's not, but just like a pressure pointing at it, which gave me the impression maybe it's like squeezing by, and especially with what's happened since, managing to not go into Japan so much, and by into Japan, I mean run into the magnetic anomaly, high intensities, where it cannot flow and cause earthquakes. 1, 2, 3, somewhere, 3, 4. These are the ones that I was noting kind of seem to be, one, like here's a route, mid-ocean ridge, East Pacific Ridge, and here's like the actual undercurrent route where it is going this way, based on the earthquakes, where pressure from Kamchatka is just kind of adding pressure into the Pacific region, which is adding pressure into this margin, pushing the northbound current to have to go further east, where then it's interacting with the pressures more and leading to some signs of this, maybe. Essentially, here's some added text for it that may or may not be applicable or accurate, whatever. These eastward pressures pushing the northbound flow from eastward flows around Antarctica. The one making it arc like that. The one making it arc like that are probably related to general details drawing these quakes over the last few days. So like applying a pressure here so it arcs and just kind of goes around due to pressure and doesn't actually take like this path. And then Kamchatka in the last week is starting on the... Oh my god. This is crazy. Crazy that does that every time. Like, what am I supposed to do? It's like I want it to be freaking unusable. Kamchatka in the last week is starting to show signs of a chakra exhaust again, just further north. Shifted north one notch like on a ladder, a rung. Maybe an interaction of north and southbound flows where the two have shifted to opposite sides of the region to not influence one another so directly. Is what I was thinking, where it's generally like going in and around, where the southbound current is running into it and going just around it. And some other stuff there. Over the last week, the local earthquakes travel in an arc pressure, pressure deflecting off of resistance. So, like if there's pressure, a current flowing this way and a current flowing this way, and it arcs, is what I was getting at. It's the arc of a current deflecting, and with a 5.5 in the East Pacific rise, they all generally align latitudinally with the Maracaibo recent earthquake cluster, 6.2, 6.3, and others. Let's see if anything happened. Okay, we're... nothing new there. Okay. And then looking at volcano discovery, there is also a quake in the Indian Ocean along that arrow, just further. There it is. Over here. So, like, propagation is also getting over there. It suggests interacting pressures over there, which then looks related to this region. I don't know what to make of it. I'm just going to move past it, though. Ammonite. I mean, Philippines is at the chakra. Oh my. What in the hell was this playing? I hope no one could hear that. I'll just go back up, I guess. Okay, so we got this Ammonite thing going on. Oh, there's another quake, maybe. At the China one. Not on this map. No. Huh, that one. I wonder if there will be others that kind of follow that. Like, I guess, like, up here. Maybe that one counts. Maybe we'll see one, like, here and up over here, then. If so, it's really not a good sign for Japan. But that would have to happen. So, I mean, otherwise, I don't know. Anything could definitely happen. I don't know. .0 in Colombia. More towards Maracaibo. Okay, this is more Maracaibo. Another earthquake in Pakistan along the outer margin of the larger Ammonite. Ammonite mantle puncture hole, Ammonite structure, and then a larger one that's is within a chamber. That chamber is here, a chamber of another Ammonite structure that kind of is hard to see here, but super subtle, but more visible in certain aspects of it, and better on Google Earth. But where there's a larger Ammonite, and then a smaller Ammonite, and then a smaller Ammonite still, in series or whatever, that are all showing the fractal nature of reality and other things. And then that volcano went off in Kamchatka that I probably talked about. So let's just get past it to this. I think I talked about this the other day in my episode that I had disconnect on YouTube. I noticed it was doing something like this, where it has a margin, a boundary, and then another outer boundary relative to it, and then another one over here, and then just a cluster. Cluster, boundary, boundary, boundary. Ring, 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 outer ring, and then cluster within the space of the two outer rings. And then I thought, well, maybe the northbound current is running directly, at this time, running directly into the magnetic anomaly along that channel. It's generally being pushed that far over, so it's running into the magnetic anomaly. And that is making it arc around and around. And the southbound current is being basically forced to allow it to through some portion of a channel. And then the southbound one kind of forms this outer ring. Where the inner ring is the magnetic anomaly itself. Like, current's not flowing here because the magnetic anomaly is there. Earthquakes are happening all around its boundary at that point. And then an outer ring around the channel of the current that was trying to go north, that's being pushed west to go this way. But at this point was going into the magnetic anomaly, I think. And southbound currents were interacting with it at the cluster as the main region where, like, the pressures, when they had nowhere else to go, are just generally going with these two interacting. So kind of like that, where it's going through this area right into the anomaly and just going around it. Where then the southbound current is interacting. And then I guess I did an episode because we definitely talked about this. And then I noted on this website it looks more elongated out this way, which goes back to the arrow. It looks like it's kind of ultimately venting southward, like some kind of it makes me think of the South Atlantic anomaly. Like this thing. Like if it pinches off and separates out this segment and just like exhausts some portion of it by dividing, makes me think that the energies there were getting through division, I guess. Never really occurred to me specifically that that was a possible aspect of what happened here, where there's some kind of pinching off. Pinching off, and then they kind of hugged the wall. Totally different. They were doing this ring thing, and things were cool, and then they hugged the wall. I'm like, really seems like the southbound current is managing to push the northbound current over, which makes sense. Like if it's swaying, like there's a mass and a northbound current is passing it, but then it's being pushed by a southbound current into the mass. And as it gets pushed into the mass, it runs into the mass, which then pushes the current off, so it actually needs to be pushed into the current or into the mass, but it gets pushed to the point where it's actually center. And it kind of stays balanced that way, I guess, kind of wobbly, because going the other way, gets pushed back. But now it seems like it's starting to go off the edge at that point, where the northbound current is just being pushed out of the way of the southbound current. It's interesting because I thought the southbound current was kind of losing steam, maybe, back in the, when the war of forces was the northbound current seemed to be winning. But it's kind of like a pendulum, where the further it goes in one direction, the more it's like compressing what's there, which then has a like pushback where it's just naturally ebb and flows, I guess. And I said it's begun to hug further west. It is like sand on a vibrating plate, taking various shapes, not just the shape here, but various shapes, including non-shape disorder between forms where it doesn't really have shapes. Several more listed on the 8th that look kind of ring-like there. And then I just numbered them, and I noted 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8 are not USGS. 2, 4, 7, 9, and 10 are all USGS. I noted USGS are all over here. So imagine that we have a northbound and southbound current. And the northbound current is being pushed further over this way. And the southbound current is pushing it further over. To the point where the southbound current pushes the margin essentially over like this far. And then the northbound current maybe has a segment that cuts across here and kind of like doesn't know what to do, and maybe goes that way and joins the other one. So they kind of merge here, and maybe they both merge this way too, as much as they can. But it seems like northbound preferentially were detected by EMSC, CBGS, RAS, EMSC, EMSC, and then the KB one again, where the ones that are maybe southbound, like boundary formed, like the boundary is being pushed by the southbound, whereas over here maybe the boundary of the northbound current was being pushed like this way, where the southbound current was kind of holding a margin. But it was still cutting in, even though the southbound current was pushing over this way. It seemed like maybe something like that, where they preferentially, energetically are more able to detect the earthquake when it's undercurrents from the region that the detector is in, exhausting towards the location of the earthquake, maybe. I mean, this is not the first time that I've seen this weird clustering of different sources. Maybe it's just a matter of accuracy, but it seems too systematic to be that dismissible as just moot. It doesn't matter. We know what we're talking about because we just dismiss everything we don't understand. Past 48 hours of earthquakes at Kamchatka. They have been at a portion of quakes that were more eastward and concentrated on the east side of the magnetic anomaly, where these today are around its west side. Okay, I'm just talking about the same thing. A few more earthquakes at Kamchatka. So this is yesterday, today, whatever. Basically today, as far as I'm concerned. A few more earthquakes at Kamchatka, matching the general patterns above, including the 6.0 here at the far west. I think that's basically where that went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 almost. Not exactly, but enough to be noticeable. 7 is kind of in that same area. It might have been there. I think it was over in this area, though. Although maybe it was even like that one. No. Like current was being compressed into that location along resistance. There was nowhere else to compress, so it built up more energy until earthquake. Seems to be shifting back towards the eddy location. I said. cluster within the cluster, which is this cluster within the cluster is what I called an eddy location, like somewhere currents are interacting and they have nowhere else to go, so they're just constantly in an eddy, and it's leading to just a cluster of earthquakes in that area, and maybe a larger one, maybe not, I don't know. To come, I mean. And then we had the 7.4. And then of note was a 6.0 that's now been changed to a 6.3 on here. Let's see. 7.4, 6.3. So I guess current is not going into the Indonesian archipelago as much as it's going this way. It's possible it will like build up resistance over here. It's try to go this way, build up resistance, and then go this way instead. Where we see like a maybe a 6 point something over here somewhere, or it continues. I mean, it seems possible it'll just kind of propagate into Drake Passage or into just a Chile region somewhere over here. Possible. Or it maybe even gets like redirected up into Pacific Northwest, possibly into here. To add pressure to the region. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let's see if we can find any connection. I think the earthquake, this one, 148. 3 south 148. Basically there. I mean, there's definitely low intensities a lot in this region, so it's probably just kind of bumpily getting through, if you will, and ultimately being forced along a channel. More here, though, to go across this way and make it over here, possibly over there, also down into that region. This shape right like there just made me think of this. Okay. So I didn't even notice that one. I was also thinking that thing that I drew, this thing, like maybe it's kind of suggestive that there's a flow going this way that's ultimately making its way over there and interacting with currents along the Mendocino fracture zone from Kamchatka. So again, being pushed to the east by pressures, but flowing north, and then there's pressures over here, so it kind of abruptly jumps west in this area, and also goes across, but as per magnetic anomalies, like through that way, to kind of shortcut and generally creating, instead of just being straight like this, having like shifts, like it goes east here but then west above it, or it's a matter of pressure kind of thing in all these cases. Okay guys, I should go. Thanks for watching. Hope that was exciting. Glad my mic is not muted. Whew, always sad when that happens. Sorry to about that one. I hope they are not too bad.